Stop operating out of memory. It's not about what you've done, it's about what you can do. And what you can do is anything. That's what you can do. Absolutely anything if you stop thinking small and stop carrying the old you into the new month. Think bigger, talk bigger, walk bigger, act bigger, be just bigger. Just everything bigger. Let's go. It's time to start thinking differently. So I want to hit you guys with 10 points. I want to point something out. If you thought the way you needed to think to earn what you want to earn, you'd be earning it already. You are at where you're at because of the thoughts you think, the decisions you've made, and the actions that you've taken. Your life is a sum total of the decisions that you have made, good or bad. So if you are experiencing the greatest fruits of life right now, it's because you've made good decisions. If you are not experiencing that in your business and or in your life, it's because of what? The wrong decisions. Guys, when you walked into this room, you thought to yourself, I need to sit down. You saw a chair, you made a decision, that looks like a good one. And then you took the action to sit down. Even where you're sitting right now is because of the way you think. Some of you chose to sit in the back. Some of you chose to sit second row because you didn't earn your way into the first row. Not trying to be mean, I'm just calling a spade here. That's a decision. The quality of your life is a sum total of the decisions that you've made, good or bad. Even from where you're sitting in this room, it's all about our decision making. And our decision making comes from our thoughts. We think better thoughts, we make better decisions, we make better decisions, we get better results, we start to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. What's the difference between Nate, Yuriv, and everyone else in this room? They think like seven-figure earners. They think like a seven-figure earner. And that's why they earn 7 figures plus. It's just the way they think. It doesn't mean they're better than you. It doesn't mean that they were created more perfectly than you. It just means they're thinking better thoughts. So what if we start to work on ourselves to think better thoughts? What do you think is going to happen in our life? We're going to start to make better. How many times, by the way, have we ever heard that before? Okay. So what's going to change? Because the last time you heard it, you didn't change. So what's going to be different about this meeting? What's going to be different about this meeting that says, you know what, Matt's talked about thinking forever. That's all he ever talks about, quite frankly. It's kind of annoying because everything stems from the mind. Everything. You tell yourself what to say, yes or yes. Unless you can't control your mind, then things come out. It's all here. We improve this, everything else improves. So it's time to start thinking differently. Everybody looks at your neighbor and say, think different! Well, fantastic. I'm so glad we're on the same page. So let's start with number 1. You can blame the ocean or you can become a better captain. You can blame the ocean or you can become a better captain. Most people are always pointing everyone else. Because of my EMD, they're not providing a culture. They're not providing an environment. It's because of this. It's because of that. When are you going to stop pointing the finger and say, you know what? I need to take 100% responsibility for my life. I'm at where I'm at because of me, the thoughts I think, the decisions I've made, and the actions that I'm taking. I'm going to stop pointing at everyone else, and I'm going to take responsibility and say, hey, this is my fault. I want you to write this down. When things are good in the organization, all credit goes to the team. When things are bad in the organization, the leader takes full credit. A leader should only take full credit for what goes wrong in their business, not for what goes right. They should give away what goes right to their people because their people is what created the success to begin with. You might have played puppet master behind the scenes. You might have created the infrastructure. You might have created the culture of the environment. You might have created all of that. But a leader gives away credit, but they accept responsibility. We need to stop pointing the finger at everyone else saying it's this person's fault and start saying, you know what? It's my fault. I was 22 years old. We signed a $30,000 a month lease on a 10,000 square foot office, right? We have this big office and I go get a Mercedes-Benz E400 coupe, right? For me, it was like a spaceship. I never even smelt a Mercedes before at that time, right? I drive to the office and they're doing construction on the office. They had scaffolding all around it. And I'm like, I'm going to park the car like 3 rows back. I'll be perfectly good. Park the car 3 rows back. I haven't even been home yet. I walk outside that night, 11:30, window shattered. What? And I was so angry. And then I thought to myself, because like this is what I wanted. I kid you not, can't make this one up. I'm like, the building. I was like so mad. And then I was like, what did I just train my base shop on? taking ownership and responsibility. Who parked the car? Me. I was like, who's the dummy that parked there? Found myself in the result. It was my fault. It's my fault. When we stop pointing blame and we accept responsibility, our life begins to change. We do that in our marriage begins to change. We do that when it comes to parenting our children, that begins to change. We do that in our faith begins to change. When we start taking responsibility and acceptance over our lives, that's when our lives begin to change. Can we be better as a leadership team? Like just every single time, like, oh, I said that. I don't mean, that's not who I am. That's not what I think. This is what I believe and this is what I think. Doesn't mean you're not going to slip up. You're not perfect, neither am I. But when we do slip up, catch the thought, catch the word track, say, I do not believe that. That's not who I am. This is what I believe. This is who I am. And just reject it. Catch it, bring it back, throw it in the trash, and then declare who you are moving forward. Number 2, you don't hit your goals, you hit your standards. You don't hit your goals, you hit your standards. A lot of us in this room, our standards are too low. And then we wonder why leaders do not appear. If you want to attract leaders into your organization, you need to raise your standards. And if you want to lose the losers in your organization, you need to lower your standards. It's up to you. And I'm not saying be mean. I'm not saying be disrespectful. I'm not saying be rude. I'm not saying make people feel like less. I'm just saying operate with such high standards that it makes everyone else around you feel like they need to do more, become more, and achieve more simply because they are in your presence. It doesn't mean make them feel like less. It doesn't mean belittle them. It just means that operate with such high standards that when people are in your presence, they feel like they need to become a better person. That's how you need to be as a leader. You don't hit your goals, you hit your standards. Some of us have such low standards that we let ourselves off the hook, and then all of a sudden we don't get results and we're like upset. You didn't put in the work. Don't be upset by the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. If you raise your standards, high tides raise all ships, everything around you will improve and get better. But if we lower our standards, your people start to think things are acceptable and okay, and then that's when businesses collapse. What if all of a sudden they're going to build this building, and they said, you know what, we're going to lower our standards on the slab. We're going to not make it 3 feet deep and thick, which is what it's supposed to be. We're going to just do a little 6-incher. That's it, a little 6-inch slab. Do you think this building would stay afloat? No, it would collapse. If your foundation is weak, there's going to be cracks. It might fall over. It's going to break. You will not be able to sustain and or maintain what you were trying to build. This is why a lot of us recruit to replace versus recruit to build. Why? Because our standards are too low. Our standards are too low. And once again, please take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Please. Don't go back and make people feel horrible because they're not. This is why we need to run high volume, because you're going to recruit a lot of people with low standards and you let the environment raise them. So you don't want to lose people. You don't want to blow people out. But when you find certain people and say, hey, these are our standards, okay? People who live up to these standards win the biggest. Just a change in thought. It's not people that don't do this don't win, because everybody's like, well, I'm not going to do that, so I should just quit since I'm not going to win. It's no, people who do this win the biggest. If you want to win the biggest, this is what you do. Make sense? You're pointing them in a direction versus making them feel bad about what they're not doing. And next thing, number 3, if you do what you've always done, you will get what you've always got. We talked about that. We got to be willing to change. We got to be willing to try different things. Maybe it's leads. Maybe it's ads. Maybe it's hiring an assistant, staff. There are EMDs in this room and you don't have a personal assistant. That is crazy. It is crazy. You don't want to know what a GFI is when you're promoting an EMD. One of the questions is, do you have an assistant? What's their name and what's their contact information? That's one of the things on the form for an EMD promotion. It's important. Some of us don't have an assistant. We're just doing everything on ourselves. I don't want my wife as my assistant. I want to love my wife. I don't want to go in that battle. So that's why I was like, I'm going to hire everybody around it because I want to remain married for the next 400 million years, okay? So I got my wife an assistant and I got an assistant, and together they assist. Like, we got to be willing to do. Like, stop being cheap. It's an investment. It's not a cost. We have to be willing to invest in our business and stop being cheap. A lot of us don't have staff or assistants. You are buying back your time because your time is valuable. It's valuable. Be smart. Number 4, what you're avoiding is probably what you need to be doing. What you're avoiding is probably what you need to be doing. There's a lot of things that we're avoiding, huh? Some of us are avoiding getting directs. We're avoiding learning leads because we don't want to be bad at this business again. And so to protect our ego, we would rather not make money. Think about how ridiculous that sounds. I'm not going to go learn leads because I don't want to be bad at something again. And so your ego is keeping you from making more. I'm not saying turn your business around, do a 180 switch. But what I'm saying is build this in. Okay? Maybe you're avoiding your personal. Maybe you're avoiding hiring an assistant like we just talked about. Maybe you're avoiding getting an office. Maybe you're avoiding buying leads. Maybe you're avoiding buying leads for your people. Maybe you're avoiding paying for a CRM. Seriously, write it down. What are the 3 things you're avoiding right now? You already know what they are. You already know what they are. If you can't stop thinking about it and it scares you, you should probably do it. Next one, number 5. There we go. Small minds build small lives. Small minds build small lives and small businesses. Do you have a small mind? Blame, negative, pointing the finger, zero responsibility, all fear, no faith. Do you have a small mind? Are you thinking small? Because when you think small, when you talk small, you attract small. If I want to go fishing and I put a small bait on my line, am I going to catch a barracuda? No. The bigger the bait, the bigger the fish you catch. And then if you put a barracuda on the line, guess what you catch? A great white. And I'm looking for freaking sharks, which is why I'm talking big and putting barracudas on my line as the bait. Like, we need to talk bigger. Talk bigger, walk bigger, act bigger, think bigger. We need to just be bigger in all that we do. Some of us are thinking so small. We're like, well, Matt, like, transparently, I don't want to have that, like, I don't really care for that big life. That's fine. Don't tell your people that. There's a calling on your life. There's a purpose for your life. And some of us are thinking so small. We're playing so small. Who conditioned you to think that way? Who conditioned you to believe those things? Like, why are we thinking so small when you were put on this earth to do big things? Think about it. You have so much more in you. I have more in me. We all have more in ourselves. Why are we playing so small? You playing small is a disservice to every person that ever believed in you. You playing small is a disservice to every person that doesn't even know they need you, but is going to need you in 5 years. Think about this. Guys, there was a child we sponsored 2 years back as an organization. I don't know if some of you guys remember that. He was 8 years old at the time. And he was at my mom's school. My mom's the head counselor at the Rock Church, the school down there. She's the head counselor for the private school there. And my mom calls me. She goes, hey, Matt, there's a kid that needs support. I go, well, what do you mean? I said, well, his mom was schizophrenic and used to beat the crap out of him and torture him. She disappeared one day, didn't come home. And the dad has 5 kids in the house. He's an immigrant, barely speaks English. He's doing everything that he can to earn a living to keep their family afloat. And they were driving to school one day and they get in a car accident. The little boy gets pinned up. So not only is he just been abused, he's just been through trauma. So now when he walks through the school, he puts his butt and hands on the wall and he slides from classroom to classroom. And all the kids make fun of him. And he just needs support. So what does it look like? My mom goes, it's $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year. She said, you're the only person I know that can help this little boy. And so we did a team fundraiser. Team raised $9,000. I raised the other 91. And we put this kid into a better school. Since then, he's thriving. He's doing incredible. This was 2 years ago. Kid's 8 years old. He was born when I was going into the industry. If I didn't make the decision to go win, this kid would not have gotten the help that he needs. There are people that are going to need you that you don't even know are going to need you. And you're playing small. Think about that. 6, reset, recommit, restart. So if you're feeling like anything hit you today, reset, recommit, restart. That's it. Reset, recommit, restart. We had big goals going into this year, yes? Big goals, big dreams, big desires. You had big ambitions going into this year. Some of us like, January didn't go well. By the way, it didn't go well for my base shop either. But guess what we did? 2 weeks ago, we're like, all right, reset, recommit, restart. And now we're going after it. So figure out what that is for you. But we gotta get back after it. Number 7, Rista. Not barista. Rista. Recruiting is still the answer. No, look at me. Say Rista. Not rooster. Say Rista. Recruiting is still the answer. It is still the answer. Right now, it's still the answer. I don't know if you forgot. That's why I put an S in there, because I think we forgot that it is the answer. It's supposed to be Rita. Recruiting is the answer. But then we forget, and then we're like, hey, just a reminder, Rista, it is still the answer. Recruiting is still the answer. If I recruit Eli and I build him a team of 10, he's forced to step into leadership. Yes or yes? But if I recruit Eli and I don't build him a team, who's he going to lead? So he's like, why do I not have a leader? Well, because I didn't build him a team and force him into leadership. Every leader that we've ever built in our organization, I forced them into leadership by building them a team, so they had to lead it. Number 8, leaders are built in person, not virtually. We talked about this. Start investing in getting people together in person. In person. Like, actually do this. If you want your people to perform like you, they need to think like you. If you want them to think like you, they got to be around you. Number 9, who I am has led to where I am. If my people keep leaving, it's me. Who I am has led to where I am. So if my people keep leaving, it's me. You can either blame your people for lacking ambition, or you can take responsibility for not pulling the ambition out of your people. You can either blame your people for not being mentally tough, or you can take responsibility for not casting a big enough vision that makes them mentally tough enough to want to push through the hard to get to the good. Most of us, that's what we do. Oh, they just weren't mentally tough. Or maybe you didn't cast a big enough vision that gave them a reason to be tough. Oh, they don't have ambition. Are they not ambitious? Or maybe did you not cast a big enough vision where they wanted to be ambitious? We can blame the ocean, or we can become a better. Okay, let's go back to number 8. Did that, like, I want to drive it, but we don't have time to drive it. Did that hit? Like, can we let it hit? Who I am has led to where I am. If my people keep leaving, it is me. It's me. And then last but not least, number 10, stop operating out of memory. Stop operating out of memory. What does that mean? That means that we look at what we did last month and we allow it to be a measuring stick for what we can do this month. We look at what we did last year and we allow it to be a measuring stick for what we can do this year. What you've done is not an indicator of what you can do. Just because you didn't get the best results last month doesn't mean you can't get great results this month. The problem is this. You're thinking back at last month. You're operating out of memory. Last month I did this, so this month I'll do this. Why does last month have anything to do with this month? It's 2 different months. The only thing that you're bringing with you into the new month is your old thinking. Stop operating out of memory. Every one of you could do 100 recruits this month in your base shop. Every one of you can make $250,000 in income this month if you just make a decision. Thank God Mike didn't operate out of memory in December. Because how much did you make in December? So thank God he didn't operate out of memory. If he operated out of memory, he would have made maybe $22,000 in January. Stop operating out of memory. It's not about what you've done, it's about what you can do. And what you can do is anything. That's what you can do. Absolutely anything if you stop thinking small and stop carrying the old you into the new month. It's a new month. It's a new year. But you keep looking at what you've done and like, well, it took me 6 years to make $250,000, so maybe in the next 12 months I can get $500,000. You can make $500,000 this month. But like, are you with me? Stop operating out of memory. Jonathan, go make $1 million this month. Can we stop operating at it? For the love of donuts, can we stop operating out of memory? Stop looking backwards. You're not going that way. You're not going that way. Think bigger, talk bigger, walk bigger, act bigger, be just bigger. Gosh dang. Bigger. Just everything bigger.